who's going to have a great reunion this year, starting with the former NFL broadcaster, Jason Witten, and now, once again, tight end of the Dallas Cowboys. How do we expect this marriage to go round two?
I think it's going to turn out well because remember when he was there in 2017, Jason Witten, even though he doesn't have that sort of that game-breaking speed, never had that. But he's savvy, right? He's a savvy tight end. And Dak Prescott really needed him over the middle. He needed that guy, that reliable third-down target, that red zone target. Yeah. And now coming back, I'll be curious to see, after a year in the booth, getting back on the field, what he's going to look like. But I think he's going to pick up where he left off and be a really good weapon.
No Cole Beasley, too.
Exactly.
Said the fire was still burning and said he wanted to get it back. You know he's going to be in the right place.
Please don't let the invisible fire burn my friend.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. How about this one in the NFC East? Speed coming back to the place where it all began for him. Deshaun Jackson is an Eagle once more.
Well, I'll tell you this, Scott. There's corners in that division, the NFC East right now, that don't want to see that guy because they can't run with him. So I think this is going to be a great reunion for him and for Eagles fans. Look at the stats right here. Right? This was what he did in his 6 seasons. Look at that, 3 Pro Bowls, 3,000-yard season, 32 touchdowns. TD, that's over 5 seasons. So you look at the production and the big play ability, that explosive ability. I mean, Carson Wentz is going to benefit from that. And you know who else will? Zach Ertz. All right, how about the rest of that offense? I mean, this is going to be huge for the Eagles. I think for the NFC East, this is going to be a challenge. How do you contain that guy?
That walk-off punt return against the Giants was
miracle in the Meadowlands Part 2.
By
the way, if you think he's old,
don't kick it to him.
You think he's old? He's lost a step. He averaged about 19 yards per catch last season. That was best in the NFL among regular wide receivers.
Oh, he still gets it done.
A coach-player combination. So Kyle Shanahan, former OC from the Atlanta Falcons, with former Falcons running back Tevin Coleman, now both San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, they're back together. And, when he had Coleman was a young back then, didn't get a lot of touches back then. But now he's in his 5th year. He's a little bit more seasons, gotten better every single year. Now he gets reunited with Kyle Shanahan, who really knows how to use him, really knows how to put the ball in his hand, make a game plan for him where he's catching the ball in the backfield, running it. So this will be good. I mean, think about it. You got Breida there. You got Jerick McKinnon, who
coming off the
injury last year, and your quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo, coming off an injury. So be good to have Tevin Coleman back there to really put some spice into that offense. That reunion is going to be really, really good to see.
Fantasy football players want to see how that backfield's going to shake out for the.
He'll be the man.
He'll be the best fantasy back. Tevin Coleman of the Niners fantasy players. You just heard the Hall of Fame
on their team.
Out of the 3 backs that you just named. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, and last but not least, Matt Ryan reunited with his former coach, Dirk Cutter, former coach of the Bucs, now back in Atlanta. How does this play out?
Yeah, I think obviously Matt Ryan, when you look at, he was under duress a lot last season, so they're going to try to shore that up. But his numbers with Dirk Cutter, take a look. All right, 2012 to 2014, look at that. Almost 300 yards per game. So they were moving the ball down the field, doing a great job of strategizing against defenses. I think really when you look at this relationship now, it's, all right, back then he had an older Des White and a young Julio Jones. Now you've got an aging Julio Jones and a young Calvin Ridley. Yep. I think this offense is going to look even better. Sorry, Roddy White, not Des White.
Yeah.
You got Des Bryant.
You almost got some fresher legs in there with Calvin Ridley, so I think this offense is going to be even more explosive.
Ridley, if he takes another step, he was so good last year. If he takes another step, look out. This could be one of the best passing attacks in the NFL. All right, thanks, Bros. Appreciate that one. Another time out here for us on TA. When we come, mini camps, you're going to hear all the same lines in mini camps. We're just trying to get on the same page. This is just the first step towards the 2019 season.
Let's walk through it.
Well,
And Shaun O'Hara here with us in studio today. Veterans of 18 mini camps combined.
Wow.
We know they're mandatory. How else are they different from the rest of these off-season workouts?
I think when I was going through mini camps, I think it was just a chance to kind of get right in terms of just mentally, physically. You want to leave mini camp kind of feeling like you're ready to go because you have about a month left before the season starts. So you have to make sure that once you get to minicamp that you're checking the boxes on things that you wanted to work on. But really, it's just as a team, you have new players coming in. You want to get some chemistry going. But I think the most important thing for me was just walking out saying, hey, man, we are ready to go, even though we didn't have pads on. And, of course, real training camp wasn't until about a month away. I just want to just walk out with a good sense that we had everything down.
Lindsay, the biggest difference is speed. You know, as a veteran, you have different speeds. OTA is kind of more walkthrough, more mental. Minicamp, you crank it up a little bit. It's a little bit faster. It's not quite, with full pads on, but it's really, minicamp is an opportunity to improve yourself and your skills as an individual. Hey, here's what I need to work on, my hand placement, or I'm going to work on my cut, or catching balls out of the backfield, your spin move. So for me, it was about, hey, dropping the hips, getting a little anchor. Offensive line-wise, you work on your technique. But then as a team, you look at what didn't we do well last year? What did we struggle with? If we struggled in the red zone, we're gonna focus on red zone situational football every single day and try to get a little bit better as a team. I think it's a little bit of both. If we can all get better individually, it makes us better as a whole.
That's a good reminder of something that Kyle Shanahan kind of went on a rant about last year, that people can't practice anymore because of the play-by-play that we get of practice. These guys are trying to get better. So maybe we'll keep that in mind when we are inevitably, attached to the Twitter and the play-by-play of things and how they're going down next week. Exactly. 3 days we're talking about here, and then it's peace out till training camp, which means that summer starts this weekend for these 9 teams. The Browns, your Broncos, TD, the Lions, the Dolphins with an interesting quarterback situation there. You've got the Patriots, where we will see Tom Brady on the field without Gronk for the first time. He hasn't been there for OTAs. The Giants, the Jets, the Bucks, and the Redskins. Any storylines you're particularly interested to follow here?
There are a lot of good ones out there, but the one that caught my eye is you have a back who hadn't played since 2018 in January, Le'Veon Bell.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just to put his name out there. And so you want to see what he looks like. You know, the last game he played in, he had 16 carries, about 60-something yards.
That was
rushing.
a while ago.
A while ago. It was a long time ago, and he missed the entire season. So now he's back. He's back with a different team, and we don't know. You know, there's questions about his running style. Will that fit in New York? Based off, the new coach, everything's new for him. So I love to see what it's going to turn out to be like. But Lev Bell's going to have a lot of eyeballs on him this training camp, and then obviously.
And TD, when his locker, when the media, I mean, they probably won't have him go to his locker for media. He'll probably go to the podium. But it's going to be a different vibe. All right, now all of a sudden you're the highest paid guy on the team, basically. All eyes are going to be on him in New York.
Well, and I mean, the offensive line needs to get a feel for his running style. He's known as a patient guy, so they'll finally get some reps with him since he hasn't been around. Sam Darnold will get a feel for him. That feels like a very important week for him. What are you looking forward to?
I mean, the Cleveland Browns. I mean, when's the last time that we really looked at a mini camp and looked at a season and said, boy, can Baker Mayfield manage the expectations? Can the Browns live up to the hype that we're building? So, yeah, I think all the focus is going to be on Odell Beckham there and Jarvis Landry and all the additions. But for Baker Mayfield now to come in as the starter, this time last year he was the number 1 pick. It was all the talk about when is he going to play. Now it's all about, man, how does he handle all the success that everybody's expecting now? So there's going to be for them, it's going to be how do we handle all the distractions and all the noise and just stay focused on getting better every single day.
What can Baker Mayfield do in minicamp that would answer that question for you in any way?
Well, take care of the football.
Yeah, I was saying, don't screw it up. Don't look bad.
But to your point, everybody's going to be taking stats.
Spread the ball around.
Hey,
they're going to dissect everything he does in minicamp. We're going to look at him if he has a bad day, if he overthrows a receiver, if he does a little hopper, whatever he does, we're going to scrutinize it and say, all right. But as a quarterback and people are watching you, you have to come out of minicamp. I mean, it's almost like the preseason games, right? Like sometimes they don't really matter if you play well. You just can't look bad in the preseason. Yeah. And I think the same thing is going to be said for the Cleveland Browns.
I'll tell you one thing you can't do, you can't underthrow Odell.
No.
When you go deep on the first play, I don't care if you overthrow him. That's fine. but if you underthrow him, then everybody say, oh, you can't get the ball to him.
Yeah, and it seems like a good time to work on chemistry, too. Right?
Absolutely.
Get everybody on the field at the same time. You get a feel for, like, how everybody likes it and where they want the ball, that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
Give us one thing to look forward to as far as your team's concerned, the Broncos.
Broncos?
Phillip Lindsay, is he going to be back next year the same as he was this past year?
Yeah, he's got a wrist injury, so he'll be fine. The hand is going to be fine. I think.
How about Big Joe?
The biggest thing is, the biggest thing is Flacco.
Big Joe.
We're looking at Flacco here, but I think that team is. There's not a lot of questions for me.
No.
I think you guys, Broncos going to be right.
Broncos, nothing to see here. Well, we'll check back in again in September.
Do you want my orange tie?
After the break, the one thing every single NFL rookie needs to purchase before the start of mandatory minicamp. But first, here's what Good Morning Football is up to on Tuesday.
We kicked off our tournament to find out who you guys at home thought was the best wide receiver in the NFL. The results of the first round will be revealed tomorrow. And let me just say, people are outraged at the matchup.
Already?
Go.
Well, it's only going to get worse. We've asked some questions this spring. We've asked who has the strongest arm at quarterback, who has the best hands at receiver. Tomorrow we're going to ask who is the hardest runner in the NFL. If it's 3rd and 2, who gets the ball?
Nate will be back with us at the breakfast table just in time for mandatory mini camps to be underway. All week long, 9 teams reporting tomorrow on this Tuesday. So will we see OBJ? Will we see Le'Veon Bell on the field? We've got updates and all the headlines from camp.
Mandatory tomorrow for you to watch.
Meet the dough that's